Alright, I'm going to be showing you how to open up and disassemble this Acer laptop. This is, a SwiftGo 14, model number N24H1. Sorry, it's tiny. Full model number is SFG14-73T-75FA. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop this thing open. The customer had this in their bag and a bottle kind of spilled around the outside of it. So we're going to take a look and see how bad the liquid damage is inside. Depending how bad it is, we may or may not consider this unrepairable or not repairable or not worth repairing. The customer said this laptop is actually pretty new. I think they said like 5 months. Anyways, we're using a T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver to remove all the screws from the bottom. You want to keep them in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. So we got 3 along the back here. Also, there's a battery little reset hole there. So if you use like maybe a sim eject tool or a little pin, you can press and hold that. If it's having some boot issues, like power issues, not powering up right, sometimes pressing that, press and hold it about 15 seconds can fix it. Alright, anyways, we got another 3 going along the middle here. And then it looks like we got 4 going along the front or bottom. Alright, there's another little hole here I'm assuming is like a microphone. But yeah, let's go ahead and get all these screws out. Okay, I don't know why they have this little caution battery sticker there. I mean, that picture looks like a CMOS battery kind of warning, so I don't know, that's weird. Maybe they want you to use a pin to press that before you open this? I don't know. Should I do that anyways? We'll use a small paper clip and see if we can push that. Nope, small paper clip is too small. So what will we use for that? You need something really tiny for that, like a sim eject tool. Okay, I don't know if I have one on hand. Well, we'll pop it open and see. It shouldn't be an issue. Alright, anyways, what I do is I get my fingernails in the gap here, and then I'll push with my thumb on here, and you can see how it popped. Be careful, you don't want to press on the touchpad, okay? We're going to work our way along the front and continue, and there you go. You can see how easily it's popping out. We're going to go along the side now. So now that I got the front popped out, I'm going to pull up with that and then push down with my thumb, and then while I'm lightly pulling on it, I'm sliding my thumb here. Obviously you can use pry tools just to pop the clips, and there we go. Alright, now that we got that, it actually flipped the entire thing open, and I don't see any crazy signs of liquid in here yet, so not too bad. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything crazy here. Alright, let's disconnect the battery, but let's get a thumbnail real quick. Alright, so line that up. Okay, now we're going to disconnect the battery. I'm going to zoom in here just to show. So the battery connector is right there. I'm going to use my fingernails and just wiggle it like this, okay? And just keep wiggling. Don't pull too hard, and you can see how it just pops out. Alright, so we're going to do that. It looks like there's a CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery here. We're going to disconnect that as well. Again, wiggle, wiggle. Okay, just like that. There we go. We got the CMOS BIOS real-time clock battery disconnected. This is the battery reset button that you can press through the case. I'm just going to press and hold that for about 15 seconds or so. Okay. Alright. We're also going to press and hold the power button for about 15 seconds just to be safe. Okay, I don't see any crazy signs of liquid damage in here. So, I don't know. They said that they spilled on it yesterday, so I mean, if I don't see any crazy liquid damage there, alright, we're going to hold that 15 seconds. Oh, shoot. Okay. You see this? Oops, sorry. The fingerprint reader button, there's some corrosion on there. You see that? I don't know. It's not focusing right. Come on, focus on it. You see that stuff right there? That's corrosion. So it could be the power button is just fried because that's the power button. So if they're lucky, it might be the computer is okay and just the power button's fried. Although I do see some corrosion. Where's that? Come on. Can't even see what I'm showing you guys. Right there. You see that? So there's some noticeable corrosion there as well. Okay, disconnected the battery. I'm going to try and clean this stuff off. We're just going to use a toothbrush to kind of scrub the corrosion away. Usually if nothing got fried, This will basically clear any shorts that might have been caused by the corrosion. Yeah, you can see, shoot, I don't know, there. I'm going to put a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on it. Okay, let me clean off my desk surface. Alright, we're going to put a tiny bit of isopropyl alcohol, just like a drop. Okay, and we're going to try and clean that up a little bit more. Maybe lift that latch. Okay, I want to check under this cable just in case there's some corrosion, so we'll flip that latch as well. And we're going to pull this side of the cable out. Okay, and then we'll pull this side of the cable out. And let's see, is there, oh, there's a little corrosion there. Can you see that? See that? It got like burnt. So, my worry is the power button got toast. But anyways, we'll try and clean it up a little bit just to clear any shorts again. Just make sure that it's not shorted. I'm going to put a little isopropyl alcohol on here. If there's really bad corrosion, sometimes you can use like vinegar to kind of dissolve away the corrosion. Okay, clean that. So the pin that's damaged is more over here. Okay, it looks like there's no short between the pins. If it focuses, okay, so hopefully we're okay. We're gonna go ahead and put this back in. Okay, line that up and line this up, get that into there. Okay, it's a little bit tricky because the cable's so thin and small, right? Make sure that goes in all the way and latch it down. And the same thing with this side. This side's a little bit weird, but there you go. Get that in, latch that down. All right, let's go ahead and clean off this as well. It doesn't look like it shorted anything there, but usually when it corrodes, that means it caused a short somewhere. Oh, they had way too much. I was like, oh no, what is that? The thing is ripped, like the circuit's burnt. But this is the thermal pad that they put. It's like a paste. And after I brushed it, I guess it smeared it more over the stuff. That stuff should be non-conductive, so it shouldn't be an issue. Let's go ahead and pop up the LCD LVDS connector here. I'm just gonna get my fingernail under and then just pop it up. Usually that's how we get these out, yep. And I don't see any corrosion there, so we should be okay. We'll line this back up and click it back down. Sorry for the shaky recording. I'm like trying to hold up the laptop to show you guys what's going on. Okay, line it up and click it back down. Okay, I just want to take a quick look to see if there's anything weird. I have a feeling most of the corrosion is just going to be along the outside of the thing, so it doesn't look like there's much craziness going on. Again, I think most of it is probably caused by the fingerprint reader power button board here getting damaged. Alright, and hopefully it was just corrosion that was built up causing a temporary short and nothing permanent. Okay, anyways, we'll zoom out. If you're wondering, there's no upgradable RAM. These are most likely the RAM. I'm pretty sure that's the RAM. And then you got the CPU here, soldered to the board, not upgradable. You got an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD, one screw, and then you can pull it up slightly and pull it out. There's the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery underneath. If you replace it, make sure you have these pins the same way. I think it's a regular CR2032, but with this cable. And as you can see, the red wire is going towards the battery here, the black wire is going up towards this side. So if you replace this, make sure you put it back right. They have this FP, they labeled these, so I think there's a fingerprint reader, microphone, this is battery obviously, touchpad, trackpad connector, and then keyboard connector. These all have little flip latches, you flip like this. Okay, this one, the keyboard backlight connector here, the latch is on this side, so make sure you don't try and pry this side up and destroy it. Same thing, the microphone one is here, and then the fingerprint reader one is here, okay? You also have a speaker connector here, which disconnects just like the CMOS BIOS battery here. And then you have the other speaker connector there. You got this big connector running across for the USB 3 port, headphone jack, and micro SD card, as well as these, what do you call, status indicator lights, whatever. Okay, latch over here and then latch over here. All right, and this board is separate, removable. So if this board gets burned out, you can replace it. Okay, I don't see any signs of liquid that got into this board, so we're gonna leave it. If it doesn't turn on, then we'll take it out again and see if there's anything else. All right, I don't think I see anything else to remove here. You got one fan connector here, the other fan connector there, and then the wireless card here. This thing is holding down the antenna cable so they don't pop out, but to remove the antenna cables, you go from the tail and just pull straight up. You might have to peel this thing off to get it out of the way. All right, anyways, let's see if we have any luck with any lights coming on or anything. I'm gonna plug in a USB-C cable here, and we'll see. All right. If any lights or anything come on, then we should be okay. All right, so far no lights on the side here. Let's see if we push the power button. Nothing. I don't see any other lights on this board, so nothing is happening. Okay, let's go ahead and plug in the battery and the CMOS battery just in case. That will help with anything. Okay, sometimes it requires those to power up, but it's pretty rare. Okay, so we'll line that up and line that up. Maybe let me ask them to use their charger, the original one, just to make sure there's nothing weird with that. But we plug this in and nothing is lighting up here. Let's try this side. Nothing is lighting up here either. Okay, button, nothing is happening. Okay, so I guess we might have to take out more stuff. I'm gonna see what the customer wants to do. Give me a second. Okay, I actually got the original charger that came with the laptop, plugged it in, and actually see the battery light is orange. So let's see if there's any change here actually before I go further and take it apart. Push the power button and nothing is happening. My guess is the power button might be the problem, but I don't know. Anyways, let's go ahead and take apart more of this just to be safe, okay? To see if there's anything else weird going on. We're gonna go ahead and disconnect the batteries again, this one and this one. And let's go ahead and hold the power button down to drain it. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and continue taking this thing apart just to see if there's anything else. I'm kind of curious if underneath the power button, if there's something going on there. But yeah, if I knew which pins powered it on, then that would be nice, but I don't, so I can't just short the pins and find out. One thing I could do, actually, that'll be kind of tricky. Let's see. No, that'll probably be too tricky. Usually what I'd do is I would check with the voltmeter and then like check each pin, and then if I push it, see if it's causing the thing to short the pins. That's how you know which one's the power button connectors. But because there's so many circuits here, I don't know which one would be able to power it up. Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and take this board out here on this side, just because that's easier to get to, and we saw liquid damage there. I'm going to disconnect I disconnected this flat ribbon cable. We're also going to disconnect the speaker connector here, and it looks like there's actually another M.2 PCIe NVMe slot here. That's nice. Alright, we're going to switch over to a PH1 or JS1 screwdriver to undo the screws holding this in place. And let's see if there's any corrosion underneath this board. Okay, 2 screws it looks like. And hopefully we can lift this out. Let's go ahead and disconnect this cable again. The thing is, if this button is fried, then pressing that button doesn't really do anything. Alright, we're going to go ahead and lift this out if we can. Okay, there we go. And I don't see any corrosion to this board, so I think we're okay with this board. The fingerprint reader one might be the problem. You see, this is held down with adhesive. You can see how it kind of wiggles. We're just going to get underneath it and see if we can see anything. Okay, no, it's just adhesive there. So I don't see any corrosion or anything else weird under there. So I'm gonna see if the power button itself is even sending the what do you call, if it's actually working properly. So we'll put this back. I kind of want to check if the power button is shorting the pins properly the way it should be. Okay, so we're going to pull the wireless antennas back out on top. Let's go ahead and get these screws back in. Okay, just like that. Pretty simple, straightforward. We'll get this back in, get that in, we'll get this in. My other worry is if the what do you call, not the power button, but if the screen is damaged from the liquid, that can also be a big issue. Since it was in their bag, they didn't just spill it into the keyboard, it basically went in to the whole computer. So since that's the case, we don't know exactly where the liquid went. I'm gonna use this to help push that forward and then latch that down. Okay, let's go ahead and reconnect this. And then I'm gonna try and use this to be able to check the pins here. Actually, I should check the pins directly if I can, because if I use that and, okay, because if I use this and this thing is burnt, it's not going to work. So actually, let me check the continuity between all these pins here. Okay, we'll zoom in and let me go grab a voltmeter. Alright, got the voltmeter here, and basically we're going to touch each pin running across. If we can. This cable wants to move all over the place. Let me tape it down real quick. Alright, tape down the cable so it doesn't move around, and let's go ahead and test this. Actually, I'm going to test with these other things instead. I don't need the super fine tip points. Check pin. Okay, you can see it's shorted there. Man, I need better eyes because this is super tiny, so we're going to test pin number 2. Is it dead? This is tough. I need something to flatten this back out. Alright, basically I'm going to do that. Let me test all the pins and I'll be back. Alright, so I tested all the pins and the last one is dead. I mean, that's the one that had the corrosion on it. So if you see, if I go from here, let me actually zoom in more. You'll hear the beep, okay? So if I touch the second to last one here. Okay, that's good. If I move down one to the last pin, and then if I move this, see, it doesn't work. So the last pin is toast. That could be the problem. So I'm gonna have to see, I don't know if we can get a hold of just that little piece of just this little wire, especially since this computer's so new. But let me see what I can find. If I can figure out which button or which pin's short to power it on, maybe I can manually short it and see if I can turn it on that way. All right, I'll be back. All right, so the tricky part now is I gotta find a way to test this button. Let's see if I can pop the actual button out. So I'm going to undo these hinge screws here and see if we can take the button out. Okay. And then I want to figure out which pin's short when you press the power button. Hopefully it's only damaged on this and not inside here as well. Because if it's damaged in there, okay, we're going to have to switch to a PH0 or JS0. But yeah, if it's damaged in there, then I don't know. The only way to check that is if we can get a new fingerprint button. So this, okay, you can see after we undid those screws, it's kind of lifting up here. But the thing is, I don't know if it's supposed to fall forward or what. So there, it has a little thing that tucks in under there. So let me actually get the button up again first. Okay, let me pry the button away from this. Okay, then we can get this metal thing out of the way. Okay, and oh, here's the power button. Okay, so we're able to get the power button out relatively easily. And now we have access to this. The problem is, how am I gonna push that button while I'm checking the pins here? So I thought it would have made it easier, but it doesn't. Okay. The cable, what I can do with it? Since the cable plugs in to the fingerprint reader this way, right? That means this pin over here is the one. So I need to figure out on the outer pins on this side. Sorry, I know it's not focusing, but the outer pins on that side. Let's see, how am I going to do this? I might have to ask the customer for help because I can't push this at the same time. Actually, okay, maybe I can. I'm gonna have to use these things like chopsticks, but we'll see. All right, anyways, what I'm going to do, because I know that the last pin is bad on that cable, what I'm going to have to do now is I'm going to have to test the last pin. So basically this pin over here. So when I push this, I'm hoping that that is shorting to one next to it. But the thing is, how am I going to do both at the same time? I don't know. This is not... I don't know how I'm going to do this. How am I going to do this? I can stick this down, but how will I push the button? Oreo, stop. Who are you barking at? Can I put this on top of this metal plate and then do it somehow? Hey. Okay, I can line it up like, oops. I lined it up with the metal plate here, and I have it upside down, so I can use that to help push it. So let's see here, if I can figure out which pins now. And again, what did I do with that little, oh, here we go, the little ribbon cable. So this would go in this way, which means, okay, which means this pin. So let me zoom in here. And what we need to find out is when we push the button, this pin, it should short with something else. So this, when we push that, it should. I'm hoping it's the first two. Because if I touch this together, right? Oops, I turned it off. Okay. So if I touch these two together, it should beep. Okay, so we're gonna go to the second one here. Oh, oops, it's so hard to hold this in place. Nope. Okay, so second one. Not the second one. Nope. Nope. Nothing. Are you kidding me? Wait, is it the last two? No. Why was it making a click sound when I did that? Oh. Okay, when I touch the two, it's already shorted a little. So that's already shorted. And if I push it, I can't hold it in place and push it, that's the problem. Nothing happens. How do I figure out? Okay, those two are definitely the first two. Nothing. I don't know what to do other than I can manually, I'd have to manually short those pins. I don't know. If I can somehow scrape off this and then solder some wire to it, then I can test that, but I don't know how I would do that. This is not easy. Whoops. Let's try with a small flathead screwdriver. Oops. I'm making them. Let's see. Or maybe I just need to scrape it. Did it just get corrosion on it? Oops, sorry. Did it actually burn, or does it just have some corrosion on it? It could be it formed a insulating layer from... Alright, let's try this one more time, just in case. Maybe I took it out for nothing. But we'll find out. We shall find out. Okay, I'm going to tape this back down. Let's check this again.
I'm getting Jack in the Box.
Let's see here. It's not. Oops. Did I accidentally change the settings? Sorry, let me accidentally change the settings on here. So let me restart this. Okay, set it back to auto. And let's check this. Okay, let's check the second pin. Okay, then we'll go down one. Down one there, and nope, definitely this wire's dead. Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna try and just solder a tiny wire there and see, because I have some special like solder wire that I can use. So let me do that, and then we'll find out what happens. All right, hold on, I'll be back. All right, we're gonna try this. I don't know how well this will work, but basically we're gonna try and solder some wire from here to here. I have a very, very super small thin wire here, okay? And the thing is, I don't know how I'm gonna do that because my hands aren't that steady. So maybe let me try and tape it in place, and then once it's taped in place I can hopefully just solder that. I don't know. You can see this wire already like on its own kind of frays. So I don't even know how I'm gonna solder that. My solder tip I don't think is even that thin. So give me a second, I'll be back. Alright, first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna try and put a little liquid solder here, or solder paste. Okay, we only need to get it on the back end here. Oh man, even that tiny bit amount is like a lot because of how tiny this thing is. So I don't know, we'll see if I can get it to stick or not. Okay, and got the soldering iron ready. The thing is, it's so hot, it's just gonna melt the plastic as well. So I don't know how this is going to work, but we'll see. We'll try and kind of solder that on there. Just the corner. I think I might have. Let's see. I don't know if the cable will go in because I made it so thick. Alright, give me a second. I need to see this close up. Alright, I don't know. I melted this cable, so I'm going to have to see if I can get a replacement cable, and hopefully when we replace that, it will work. Alright, so I did a test to figure out which pins were what. So basically, the power button has two sides here, okay? And you can see if you touch this to both, okay? So right now, it's not going to do anything really. But if you push the button while you're doing this, it will short it. So let me show you. See that? Okay, I don't know. You can't really see what. But anyways, what I did was I used this to hold on to one side here. Okay, and then I put this down, and I figured out which pin went to where, but I think the pins on here are also bad. So I found out that these little circles here, there's two side by side here, and this one shorts here, and then the other one is right next to it. So if I were to do this side, okay, and then same thing, if I were to do the one on the right hand side, where is it? There you go, that one shorts there. So basically after that, if you were trying to figure this out, if yours wasn't burnt out, basically if you were to short these two and the wire was okay, that would already act as the power button. The problem is the wire is not okay, but I believe it's the 4th pin and the 5th pin that are there. But yeah, anyways, one of the pins isn't connecting right, so I have a feeling it burnt somewhere internally in there. So if I were to hold this here, and then I were to kind of go across all these pins here, okay. You can see we found the short there. So if I were going from left to right, which is here, 3, 4, that's the 4th pin. Okay, so from the left, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I were doing this one doesn't want to work. But anyways, let me see if I can zoom in here to show it better. Okay, but basically we were doing the 2nd circle here. Okay, and you can see if I comb this, there's a little resistance it's finding through the last pin. Here we go. Wait, it's not doing it anymore. But basically this one isn't making good contact. So if we go back to here, 4th pin, there you go. Then we go back to the one over here. Okay. And you see none of these pins are, oh, this one. Yeah, they're all getting a little bit of resistance, but not much. I wonder if is it going through the table? How is it? I don't know where it's getting the resistance, but there's a little bit of resistance coming through. So maybe something shorted inside of this as well. I tried shorting the pins directly on the laptop, but no luck. So sadly, it seems like we're out of luck here and the laptop is dead. So I'm just gonna put this thing back together. All right, we have the cable. We're gonna reattach the fingerprint one. I wasn't able to solder the wire to fix it. I actually just melted it and made the wire a little bit worse, but you can see that, oops, you can see that I melted it and made it worse. But anyways, let's go ahead and reassemble the laptop here. So sadly, that was just a big waste of time. I'm gonna have to see, maybe my partner might be able to fix it. I'll see if the customer wants me to have him take a look at it. Okay, we'll get the power button back into the hole there. Make sure you have it the right side up. And then this thing has to go that way. All right, and let's see, how did this line up here? Was it like that? Okay, it was like this. So the arrow points upwards, and make sure that goes in. Okay, and then make sure this goes into this little notch, and this falls back on top, right? Okay, to accidentally flop it over. Get it with some tweezers to make it a little bit easier. This button, you want to make sure it stays in the right place. Okay. Go. Alright, I think I actually had to slide it over sideways a little bit. Oop, there we go. Okay, let's go ahead and get this back together. Okay, let's get screws. Whoops, I need my screwdriver. Give me a second. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the hinge screws back in now that we got the fingerprint reader thing in. Well, we do need to get the screws still in here. Let's get the PH0, JS0. We'll get this screw here. Okay, and then get this guy over here. Alright, make sure this cable gets plugged back in. Sorry, I got so much junk here now. Okay, latch that back down. You can go ahead and stick this back down if it even sticks. And then push the hinge back over on top. If it doesn't line up, you might have to open the laptop slightly to get this to line up. And push them down together. Alright, there's 3 screws here. Switch back to the PH1, JS1 screwdriver. And we'll get this in. Alright, and this one. And the last one here. Alright, oh, one thing I should have done, because I was testing it with the battery connected, I should have disconnected those. Okay, and let's go ahead and press and hold the power button for about 15 seconds. And maybe I'll take out the entire thing just to check. Alright, might as well. We already got this far. So let's go ahead and take the entire Logicboard out. Okay. So we're going to switch back over to the PH0 JS0 screwdriver. Actually, we'll use the PH1 JS1 because we do need to take out the battery. Also, if you're wondering, the battery model number, if I didn't say it already, is AP22ABN. I have a feeling I didn't say that yet. Okay, so we'll zoom out a bit more. Let's go ahead and get the battery screws out. We got this one here, this one here. Looks like the battery cable is removable, so if you're replacing your battery, which likely won't be anytime soon because this laptop model's relatively new, but you would grab here and then you would kind of wiggle this as you pull, and you should be able to eventually, there you go, pop that connector out. Alright, anyways, I'm going to push that back in, just like that. Set that aside for now. Here you can see all the cables here, touchpad, touchpad. So the touchpad actually has 2 cables. So touchpad and then FP. So this isn't for the fingerprint reader, it's for whatever FP stands for. I don't know. I mean, your finger does go on that. Okay, you got the wireless antenna, one stuck down here, one stuck down here. The wires go along up here and then plug into the wireless card that's under or here. Alright, again, let's go ahead and try and take the board out because why not? We already went that far. Might as well. Should we take the wireless antennas out separately? Let's go ahead and do it. Let's zoom in. Okay, and peel that up, and then we'll go from the tail again and just pull straight up. There's the white connector and then the black wire. There we go. Okay, I'm assuming that we'll be able to take out the or lift the fans with it, but if the fans go separate, then we'll have to unplug the fans as well. Let's go ahead and take out the fan screws. Okay, do these fans, oh, the fans come separate actually. Okay, take out the fan screws. Should we remove the fans or just leave them attached here? You can see they kind of, what's holding it down here? Is there some adhesive? Maybe there's some adhesive holding it with the heatsink, so we'll leave that alone. Let's go ahead and switch over to the, actually let's disconnect all these cables. So keyboard backlight cable, keyboard cable, okay, touchpad, microphone. So there's a little cable here, and I was right, that little hole was for the microphone. So flip that latch, pull that out. Okay, the other touchpad connector. Let's take the SSD out. We are going to have to use a PH0 or JS0 screwdriver to undo that. Then we can go underneath and lift up. I think there might be a thermal pad, so something is holding on to it. Is there a clip? What is holding the SSD down? Oh, I'm blind. So this black plastic thing is a clip. I had to pull that backwards for the SSD to pop up. Then we can go ahead and wiggle and pull that out. SSD looks fine. It's a Western Digital. Okay, this motherboard seems to like to switch. There's a PH0 JS0 screw here. So we'll take that one out, and then we'll switch back over to the PH1 or JS1 screwdriver because there's two screws over here that we got to get out. So take that one out and this one out. Okay, let's also disconnect the speaker connector here. Just again, wiggle at the wings. Wiggle, wiggle as you pull, and there we go, comes out. Alright, let's go ahead and disconnect the screen LCD LVDS connector. We already did that earlier. Just get underneath and pop that up, just like that. There's another screw up here. Again, PH1, JS1. And let's see, now I think all the cables that we need to take out are gone, so hopefully we can lift this up. Unless something else is holding it down. Okay, gotta be careful. I don't know if these connectors are kind of going into the side of the thing. Let's actually remove this cable completely because it's in the way. So flip the latch up on both sides and get that out. Okay, let's see, will this pop up now? The heatsink is kind of wiggling here. Something is like holding it down. I don't know if liquid corrosion or something got underneath and stuck it down, or if there's adhesive, but this is really stuck here for some reason. I don't know what's going on there. This fan, something in the middle is kind of sticking it. What is going on? Oh, there is adhesive underneath, I think. Yep. That's dumb. Okay, there's adhesive under there, so be careful when you peel up that. You can see this fan has a lot of extra slack and it plugs up here. This fan, it's held down with adhesive. So let's actually disconnect the fans. We'll disconnect that cable. Okay, and pull these wires out of the way. And we'll disconnect this cable as well, so we can set that aside. Okay, is there adhesive holding this down as well? What is going on here? No, I think this has little tabs that stick out, so you need to kind of pull it down this way as you kind of lift. You can see I'm pulling it down away, and there we go. Let's get these cables to go underneath since they're in the way. And this cable's kind of also... Are there any hidden screws? I don't see any more screws, so let's carefully lift, wiggle and lift. Okay, carefully wiggle and lift, wiggle and lift. Yep, we gotta wiggle and lift because these little plastic mounts are holding it in place. And there we go. Right? Oh, there's one more cable or something under here. Oh, there's a cable going underneath there, so into the screen, probably for the LCD, for the webcam or something, there's a cable there. So I'm gonna rotate this way because it's underneath the heatsink. Oh shoot, there's more corrosion here. So yeah, it's worse than I thought. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a lot more corrosion there. I'm gonna try and brush that away. Honestly, after cleaning that off, I think it just cause some temporary shorts because other than it melting off some of the solder, it doesn't look like it fried anything. At least not that I can see. Alright, so it was like down in this area. You can see how those solder things turned all dark gray there and then kind of disappeared. Anyways, we're going to flip this back over, put it back together, reconnect everything. There's nothing on the bottom, as you noticed, or if you didn't notice, there's nothing on the bottom. Okay, we're going to now line this up back with the little plastic raised mount, and that's going to be a little tricky, but yeah, it is what it is. So these do kind of protrude out a little bit into the casing, which makes it so you have to tilt these down and into there to get that to go in. Alright, now that we got that, we need to pull all these little cables out of the way. Alright, so let me get this tool and let's get these little cables out of the way before we put the motherboard down. Get out of the way, speaker wire. Okay, we got all these little cables that we need to pull back on top of the board before we drop it down. Okay, all these wires need to go on top. And again, the heatsink, you have to actually kind of pull it down a little, but it feels like something is underneath here. Something's trapped underneath the board, or something's just not lined up right. Okay, we do need to line this up so we can push that back down. So it needs to actually go that way, and for that I think you have to get that in there, and that seems like that worked. It did the trick. Okay, hopefully we got all the cables out that we need. Okay, I think we did. It seems like it's sitting down flush. Alright, let's go ahead and get these motherboard, logic board screws back in, whatever you want to call them. So we had one here. Got one here. Have one up here. Okay, go ahead and plug this back in. Click that down. You can plug the speaker cable back in. You gotta kind of pull it back, make sure it goes in straight. Okay, and push that in. Alright, we have the SSD we can go ahead and put back in. Just goes in at an angle like this. Okay, and then push that in. Click that back down into place. If for some reason this doesn't go back, you might have to get something to pull this plastic tab back so you can click that down. Alright, I'm going to switch back to the PH0 JS0 screwdriver so I can get the screw in for the SSD. There we go. Alright, and we have this little screw with the PH0 JS0 down here. There we go. Alright, make sure to get the fans back lined up. Okay, this one will reconnect the fan, push that in, put the fan back in place, nice. Alright, we got the other fan connector, line that up, push that in. Sorry, I know I'm zoomed out, but it is what it is. Alright, get the black wire and the white wires, antennas back in. So we'll do the black one first, line it up, make sure it latches on before you push it down. Okay, click that into place. The white one, do the same thing. Line it up. Click that into place. Alright. That will hold that in place. Alright, switch back to the PH0, or sorry, PH1, JS1, so we can get the fan screws back in. I'm going to loosely fit them first just to make sure everything lines up. Okay, then I'll pull this up towards the heatsink and tighten the screws down. Just like that, and like that, and the last one like that. Okay, all these cables we need to get back in. Alright. I'm putting the CMOS BIOS battery last, in case you're wondering. Okay. This guy. Oh, the microphone cable's gonna be a pain, isn't it? There we go. Touch that down. Touchpad cable. Oh, it went in on its own. Okay. Latch that down. Keyboard connector. The keyboard connector, you have to angle it down a little bit. There we go. Latch that down. Right. Yep. Okay. Keyboard backlight connector. Hopefully I'm filming everything. I don't know. Okay. Shuts in, latch that down, good. Alright, then we have this wide cable. We'll get that in. Okay. This one can be a little tricky to get back in. So going at an angle and everything has to line up. There we go. Latch that down. Alright, this side as well. Kind of have to make sure it tilts downwards. Get that in, perfect. Latch that down. Okay, did we get everything? I think so. Okay. Now we got to put back the battery. Okay. Battery goes back like this. These little feet need to tuck in underneath, so they go in under there. That way you can see you can actually lift the computer with that. So it hooks in there, okay? I mean, that you're not supposed to be lifting the thing with it. I was just trying to make a point. Alright, then we'll get the battery screws in. Alright. And we'll get the CMOS battery connector back in. RTC, whatever they call it now. It says RTC on there. Then we'll get the main battery connector back in. Okay, I think we got everything reconnected. So all that's left is the bottom cover and the screws. I'm going to try one last time to see if it turns on or anything, since we cleaned up a little more corrosion. We'll plug in the charger, and the battery light's on, and the power button does nothing. I mean, I figured. Alright, I tried to manually short the connection here. Oops, I forgot it needs to be open for the power button to even work. So I'll try and short the actual pins here. Nothing. Nothing. Didn't work. Let's try if we... Okay. Well, the battery light went off for a second, but it's back on. Yeah, nope, all that did was make the battery light turn off now. And if you have that happen, then disconnect the power, and then you can disconnect the, let me see if I plug it back in right now. Nope, oh yeah, okay. The battery light is still on. You can see it's orange. But yeah, nothing else is happening. So we're just gonna go ahead and put the bottom cover back on and call it a day for this laptop. hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, again, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Right? If you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you can watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. And yeah, I do also have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More. Same profile picture, but zoomed in. If you can subscribe to that one, that'll really help me out. If you don't like watching my review videos, hopefully you'll be able to subscribe to it anyways and just not hit the bell button. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We're just gonna get all these screws back in, and then yep, sadly the liquid destroyed this one. Also, I don't know if the screen got damaged from the liquid or if the keyboard or touchpad got damaged from the liquid. So yeah, but it looks like most of the liquid was in the back end, so I don't know. I'll see if the customer wants me to have my partner look into it. If they can fix it, then yeah, we'll see. Maybe it'll be worth it. I don't know. Okay, we're just getting the last few screws, and that's pretty much it. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, last few screws. So now all that work and very little pay for this job of diagnosing. Alright, so hopefully this video will get a lot of views because it's a really new laptop. Alright, there you go. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Drop the spike.